Hello, BenchWire crew. Welcome back. Man, what a weekend of football it was, man. I had so much fun watching every game. Some were snooze fest a little bit, but that's all right. That's all right. It's Super Wildcard weekend. I'm pumped. Can't wait to dive in. Can't wait to talk it all. But first, got to check in on Steven Haplo. Got to make sure he's doing all good. How's the gabagool this weekend? Did you get some good game day food? How was it,
Good
man?
game day food. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did eat pretty good. Had my Sunday dinner there. Had some pasta, and I don't know what else I ate, but it was good. It was good. But
Okay.
they were pretty good. But yeah, there was some snooze fest in there. But man, oh man, there's a lot of scoring, especially in some of these blowouts. But we got a great slate of games. Coming up this weekend. Can't
Mhm.
wait for those. What we got? 4 games, right?
We got
Four.
four. I think it's two Saturday, two Sunday.
Yeah, so those should be good games. And yeah, we got to talk about these games here. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it, man. We like to do things chronological here at Benchwire, so let's start off Saturday, 4:30. All right, I remember the times. I got you.
You remember the
You got
times.
Texans, right? They're hosting the Chargers, and me and Steve are like, I know we both picked them. We both picked the Texans. They were our darlings before the season even started. But we're like, man, Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert, they changed the culture. They look like a legit team. They're at least going to win one playoff game. Man, oh man, were we wrong. I think we forgot to factor in, Steve, just how big home field was. I think that was the reoccurring theme throughout all these games was a lot of the home teams won. And no surprise here, the Texans followed that. They went at home. The home crowd was there. They won 32 to 12. Justin Herbert, we're going to get into it with him a little bit. He struggled. 242 yards,
A little
one
bit.
touchdown, four interceptions. Some of it were bad throws. Some of it was off the tight end and picked off. So some of it, yeah, I'm not taking anything away from it, but he had a bad game. It's one of his worst games of his career. Joe Mixon, what a pickup he was. 106 rushing yards, one touchdown. And CJ Stroud, he played better, a little bit up and down. He was in the sophomore slump this year. Still a good quarterback, still respectable. 282 yards, one touchdown, one interception. So a pretty good game for CJ Stroud, relatively taking care of the football there. Yeah, Steve, any takeaways there from that game?
Yeah. Yeah, the Texans really did surprise me. Did not have them winning this game, but they showed up, they balled out, and you got to give credit to D'Amico Ryans and that staff there. They had some experience from last year. They got the job done. They beat the Browns, I believe, last year, right? They were the underdogs in
Did.
that game, right? They're the
Yeah.
underdogs in this game. Everyone thought the Chargers were going to win. Jim Harbaugh's changing the culture there in LA, but yeah, Justin Herbert did not live to expectations there. He threw more picks in this game than he did the entire season, which is, kind of mind-boggling there. But
Yeah.
yeah, hell of a game from the Texans defense, creating all that pressure and making Justin Herbert crumble. And that's pretty much the story of that game. It was a good outing from CJ Stroud. Wasn't pretty, but he knows how to win games and he got the job done. And I believe that's the first time CJ Stroud has finally beaten Jim Harbaugh. Had the history there, Ohio State and Michigan. So, all in all, good outing from the Texans. They got a tough matchup
Mhm.
this week going against the Chiefs, but that
Yeah.
should be a fun game. Hopefully, they pull off the upset. That's what I'm rooting for. I don't know if it's going to happen, but yeah, the Chargers, where they go from here. It was the first year in their rebuild with Jim Harbaugh, and we got to say, I think they, well outperformed expectations for sure. I didn't expect them to make the playoffs in year one. And yeah, their roster is just going to get better from here on out. They got a whole off season to rebuild. And yeah, they need to get some more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Other than Lad McConkey, like who really showed out for the Chargers in that game? Nobody. I know Lad
Mhm.
McConkey balled out, had almost like 200 yards, but you need to get more weapons there for Herbert. The offensive line was kind of shaky. You need to look into that this offseason. But yeah, I think those are like some starting spots they need to look into this offseason. But, all in all, good game from the Texans. Excited to see what they could do this weekend. And yeah, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, you gotta give Chargers a lot of credit for the season they had. I think they had an excellent draft. Joel, they got him there. He's their starting right tackle, I believe. He's going to be a perennial All-Pro. He's going to be a stud for years to come there. So they nailed that. And like you said, Ladd McConkey, he balled out. Their only true weapon they have to worry about. And Texans, as well as their defensive game plan was, Ladd McConkey did get loose. He broke off like what an 80-yard touchdown there in the game. So yeah, he was Herbert's only weapon, and Herbert was staring him down, getting him the football. So you got to give him a lot of credit there. Successful first year for Jim Harbaugh, even though they came up short, and I know they would want to win that. And you got to give Bobby Slowick, you got to give him credit too. You're down Diggs, you're down Tank Dell. And for you to go in there and take care of a good Chargers defense, a good Chargers team, with just basically Nico Collins and Dolan Schultz really in your passing game. John Mechie, I know, was in there. But you also got Mixon involved. That was a great offseason pickup. He really stepped up this game too. And yeah, like you said, D'Amico Ryans. I'm not familiar with the defensive coordinator, but both of them need a lot of credit for the defensive game plan. To get Herbert to turn over the ball, he's a pretty smart quarterback. So whatever you're doing, disguising coverages on the back end, it worked. It flustered him. So I want to see how they carry that over to Mahomes, who's a little bit more. He was three Super Bowl wins. Going against Andy Reid. I want to see the chess moves there. How can they slow down the Chiefs' offense? So that's gonna be a fun one coming up. But yeah, let's go into the next game. Yeah, I believe this is an 8 o'clock kickoff Saturday. I'm like, yes, AFC North showdown.
It was on Prime Video too.
It was on Prime. Kirk Herbstreit, Al Michaels, nothing better in Baltimore. AFC North, hard hitting game, and man, Ravens, they defeated the Steelers 28-14. And man, oh man, where do you begin with this? That first half, Steve, was awful from the Steelers. They looked like
It was brutal,
Kirk Herbstreit, who's like the nicest person, like commentator wise, is like, this is not the Steelers. This is not. They don't even want to be out on the field. I'm like, yeah, man. And then you see videos of them not really tackling. Derrick Henry absolutely just runs all over them. Let me see. I got the stats right here. 186. That's just rushing yards. I didn't do the passing yards. 186 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. And Lamar did Lamar things. Not a whole lot of yards, 175, 2 touchdowns. Did the job. And that touchdown at the end of the first half, where he manipulated the pocket and found Justice Hill, the backup running back, for a touchdown. Great play by him. And I got Russell Wilson. He played relatively all right. Sloppy first half, but played a little bit better. 272 touchdowns. Yeah, it was just tale of two halves. The Steelers played better in the second half. They added 2 scores, but just because they put themselves into a hole that first half. They were down 21-0 at half, which is unacceptable. I believe the Steelers, for the last 5 playoffs they've been in, they've been outscored like 63-0. So slow starts under Mike Tomlin. Something's got to change. I know everyone's been saying something's got to change. What happens with Mike Tomlin's future is a little bit uncertain. I think he stays. The Steelers don't really change from coaches at all. Only 3 coaches since the franchise was founded: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. I wouldn't expect any changes there, but from Mike Tomlin, but something's got to change. You got to get a quarterback, right? I think that's one thing you could point out of Mike Tomlin's tenure. But yeah, this was a poor showing. Steelers there, and especially against a division rival. You get up when you play the division rivals, and they were just flat. They just looked like they did not want to be there, especially the first half. So yeah, it was a poor performance from them, and I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected out of this game. I thought the Ravens were going to beat down on the Steelers. The Steelers just, offensively just really don't have the talent, like, other than George Pickens and Najee Harris, who they really have on offense, right? There's not really any playmakers there that can, thread the needle and push the ball.
Freiermuth's solid. Freiermuth's a solid tight end.
Yeah, I won't forget about Freiermuth. I did forget about him. But, I feel like they need more. And those guys, I believe Najee's not coming back next year. George Pickens, he's good, but I don't view him as a receiver 1. I feel like he's more of a receiver 2. And Russell Wilson, I don't even know if he's going to be back next year. Like that's another question mark for this offseason. Do they bring him back? Do they even want him back? I don't know.
Doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't sound like it either.
Sounds like they were frustrated the last few.
I don't even know if they want to bring back Justin Fields? Like, do they see a future with him in the cards
From what
there?
I saw, I think they're more open to keeping Justin Fields and working with him in some role, whether that's a backup, whether it becomes a starter. But honestly, all signs are looking for them to maybe potentially draft someone, you know?
Yeah, you're
So,
gonna have to at least bring someone in there through the draft in that quarterback room. Maybe go out, sign a guy like Sam Darnold. He might be available. Is that something the Steelers would do? I don't know, but something
yeah.
they need to look into. But yeah, just think offensively, they just don't really have all the talent to get the job done and compete with these high-powered offenses like the Ravens, the Bills, and everyone in the AFC there. And defensively, yeah, they just were not good at all. Like they weren't really generating a lot of pressure. Lamar and Derrick Henry had all the time in the world to make things happen. The Ravens controlled the line of scrimmage, and yeah, it was just a blowout from the start. Yeah, the Steelers tried to come back there in the end, but it was just too late. I just
Mhm.
overall don't know if, maybe Mike Tomlin's the guy anymore. He might be, I know he continues to win, but he might be outdated now in the NFL. And I personally, if I was a Steelers fan, I would see if I could get something for him and maybe trade him because I know he's still a very good, valuable coach. Maybe get some draft capital, and that could be your future for a potential quarterback that they want to get in a draft, or I don't know, maybe get another coach, maybe swap coaches, maybe do a Mike Tomlin for Kyle Shanahan. I don't know, just making shit up at this point, but
That'd
I
be
don't know. I
wild.
would explore all opportunities and see because I don't know. I don't know if Mike Tomlin's a guy because he's just not the guy that wants to get new offensive coordinators and new defensive coordinators every year. Like he likes to play it out and hold the guys true to his staff and give them like 2 or 3 years until like firing them. Like Matt Canada, he was there for what 2, 3 years until he ended up firing him. Like he doesn't do it right
Yeah.
away. It just takes time. So there's a lot of question marks there with the Steelers, but they still find ways to win. They still find ways to go to playoffs, but they haven't won a playoff game in what 8 years now. So there's some kind of concern there, and it would be something to be worried about if I was a Steelers fan.
Mm.
But the Ravens, talk about them. I think they're good. I think they have the potential to beat the Bills this week, and they're looking like, one of the best teams right now in the AFC. All the whistles are going there for the Ravens. And yeah, Lamar, he should be in this MVP conversation. He's playing, balling out right now, and is one of the best quarterbacks in this league. And you got to give him credit where credit is due. And I'll turn the floor over to you.
Yeah, not too much more to add, but Derrick Henry, what an offseason move that was. And one thing about the Steelers organization, they are not receptive to change. They don't welcome change that much. Like just having only three coaches, that's not their mold, that's not their DNA. So moving from them, it would be big news if they move on from Mike Tomlin in some capacity. That'd be a big time thing. And like you said, Matt Canada, I think it was a quarterback coach, and then they like to hire from within. I think he got promoted when Kevin Colbert was their OC with Ben Roethlisberger, and then
Mm-hmm.
Canada got promoted, and then yeah, Canada didn't know what he was doing, but like you said, Tomlin stuck with it. They like promoting from within their own guys, sticking with them until it's too late. So yeah, there's a saying, quick to fire, slow to hire. And in this case, they're on firing guys when they should get canned. So that's something the Steelers should change, honestly. But enough about that game. Let's go on. Yeah, we got the Sunday slate, 1 o'clock kickoff, Bills, Broncos in Buffalo. And man, Steve, let me just say, when I saw that deep ball from Bo Nix to Troy Franklin, their teammates from Oregon, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a game. I'm like, this could be a good one. I heard John Gruden say, I know Sean Payton was like his protege. Like he learned from Gruden. He's like, something tells me those Broncos, man. I don't know what it is. And when I saw him, I'm like, okay, the Broncos are live. Nope. 31 unanswered points right after that.
Yeah.
31-7. They scored that first drive and they're like, okay, you're not scoring not once again. You're not scoring again. And we're gonna put 31 unanswered. And yeah, Josh Allen, MVP. Yeah, man, he's just the MVP in my opinion. 272, 2 touchdowns. What a performance! And James Cook, he's coming on, man. He's playing really good as well. 120 rushing yards, a touchdown. The two of them just dominated the whole game. And Bo Nix, you gotta give him a lot of respect too. I put his stats down. First time being a rookie. Bright future for Denver as well. And that AFC West is going to be competitive. We talked about the Chargers earlier. We got the reigning defending champs, the Chiefs. That's a fun division. And yeah, bright future for them. Bo Nix, 144, 1 touchdown. But one thing is that's valuable experience. That's good. That's a good building block for the first year. Like I didn't think the Broncos were going to make it at all, to be honest with you, and they did there. So you got to give them respect, even though it wasn't not a competitive game. But I don't have really much takeaways. But the Bills defense played really, really good. I liked what I saw from them outside of the first drive touchdown they gave up. And yeah, Josh Allen is a freak show. It's his offense, and Joe Brady does a great job of calling plays, developing a game plan. Same with McDermott on the overall game plan, the defensive side. It's a well-oiled machine. They play complimentary football. They take care of it. Josh Allen's been taking care of it, and the Bills defense, they've been shutting them down, not giving up too many points, also taking away the ball too. So yeah, they're playing complimentary football. They're one of the best teams in the AFC, and they handled a pretty respectable Broncos team. And I'll turn the floor over to you.
Yeah, when I saw that Bo Nix touchdown pass, I'm like, okay, this actually might be a game, like you were saying. And then, yeah, Bills just did their thing, put up 31 points. Oh my god! But yeah, Josh Allen's for real. He should be the MVP. He is killing it right now from what he's doing. He's just a magician there at the quarterback spot. And James Cook, I think he should be, getting an extension here soon. He's been killing it as well. Been one of the best playmakers on that Bills offensive side of the ball. And yeah, the Bills, they're looking good, and they're on pace to make something happen here, potentially compete for Lombardi Trophy. But yeah, Bo Nix and company when the Broncos, hell of a season. They outperformed expectations, did a hell of a job there, and yeah, he surprised me a lot. He was in the conversation there for potentially being Rookie of the Year when Jaden Daniels had that little slump, but I'm still going to give it to Jaden Daniels here, but Bo Nix, he's right up there with being one of the better quarterbacks in this draft class. Kalen Williams underperformed, and Bo Nix did what he's been doing all year and been balling out. Yeah, got to give him credit where credit's due. Yeah, they definitely, exceeded expectations here, but yeah, I expect, first year in the rebuild, Bo Nix will get better from this, learn from this, and grow as a player. So, it was a good game overall for the Bills. Broncos, they're going to learn from this. They're going to get better and move on to better things. So, yeah, good game. We can talk about the next game now.
Yeah, these next two games I want to get into. Start off with my Birds, the Eagles. They hosted the Packers, TB12 in the booth. Um, it was a fun.
TB12.
He was in the booth. He was in the
He
booth.
was in the booth.
Yeah. This game. Where do I begin? That Eagles defense is legit. It just is. They just play super hard, super physical. And I thought the hit Warren Burks had in the kick return on the Packers player, even though there's some controversy, maybe the Packers recovered it. I don't know, but whatever. But that hit though, it set the tone. It's like you came to our home, you came to the Philly, you came to the link. Expect this to be a war, expect this to be a battle, and they did. And the defense. One of the things I said in like the TikToks we make in the shorts is like that defense is not what they faced in week one. It's going to be a much better defense than what the Packers faced week one in Brazil. And I was right about that. Jordan Love struggled 212 passing yards, 3 interceptions. I mean, Zach Bond, who's first team All Pro, he had an interception all over the field tackling. Quinion Mitchell, first pick of the year for the stud rookie. It was awesome to see that. The celebration, though, the Triple H pedigree, that was awful. I won't do that again. And Darius Slay, the old man who always goes down with some kind of injury, I feel like every game, he got a
Yeah.
pick, too. Nice pick. Um, yeah, Jordan Love struggled. They made it hard for him. And Josh Jacobs, great signing for him. He had a pretty good game. He was he was contained, Steve, for a lot of it, and then he broke out a big run and then punched it in there too. So yeah, what a great back. He had a pretty good game. The only thing really going on that offense, he was the only one really fighting on that offense. He had one with Jaden Reed, and then he got banged up too. Like a lot of Packers players were just getting hurt. So, yeah, Josh Jacobs got to give him a lot of credit. He's a dog. And Jalen Hurts, I knew he would be rusty. Not a really good game from him. I'll be honest. I've been critical of him. It was not a good game for him. I feel like, yeah, he took care of the ball, but only 131 passing yards. I would like to see more passing yards there. AJ Brown only having one catch. We gotta get and Devontae Smith. We gotta get those guys more into it, more involved. But like the defense did their job. 131, 2 touchdowns. I'm cool with it. And Saquon 119 yards. You could have said he could have scored at the end, but did the classy move. He slid, ran out the clock. Totally cool with that. I think it was a smart thing to do. Send them home, and yeah, Eagles win 22-10. Yeah, it was a competitive football game. You gotta give credit. I didn't give much credit to the Packers defense. They did a well job bottling up that Eagles passing attack. Too like Dan Orlovsky said, there wasn't many open guys, and you gotta give credit to the Packers defense there. So I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. This was, a game that I didn't think that would be this close. I thought the Eagles would, blow them out more. But yeah, got to give credit to the Packers. The defense actually did pretty good for, me thinking that they were going to get blown out. But yeah, Jordan Love, he stunk. He was bad in this game, just throwing bad pass after bad pass. I know he was missing, Christian Watson, he's out. Jaden Reed got banged up. Romeo Dobbs even got concussed there in the game, but
Yeah.
doesn't still not an excuse to throw those 3 interceptions there, right? But yeah, he just had a bad game, and a guy that they just paid all this money is like kind of concerns. Like they paid you to live up to these type of moments and ball out, and that's what you got the show for it. That's kind of concerning. But yeah, Eagles offense kind of stagnant as well. Jalen Hurts did not have a great day. Just couldn't really see the field there, and he had all the time in the world. He had all that offensive line. Oh my god! But yeah,
Yeah.
he just can't
That
really.
Dotson touchdown all day.
Yeah, he had all the time in the world. I'm like, bro, if he doesn't throw a touchdown here, we got a problem. Like, but yeah, the Eagles offense stagnant. We got to talk about Dallas Goedert, bro. Oh my god, that
Stiff
that
arm.
three stiff arm. Oh my,
Yeah.
that was
That was
insane. That
tough.
was tough.
Yeah.
I like that play a lot. He got more respect from me after that play. But yeah, Saquon. If Saquon's rushing over 100 yards, the Eagles are winning every game. That's what it seems like. Every time he gets over 100 yards, the Eagles usually win. So if you can have a productive day out of Saquon and win time of possession, the Eagles
hmm
should win the game, right? Because the defense been playing like one of the best defenses right now in the league. They're holding opponents to I think like 17 points or less, some stat line like that. And yeah, they're just
Yeah.
winning time of possession, and that's how you win football games, playing complementary football. The special team showed up in the beginning of the game, that first turnover, even though I think the Packers recovered it, but it's okay. Um, but all in all, the Eagles, they should win this week. They should beat the Rams, and they should be on to the NFC Championship. That's what I think. But it all depends on how they show up and if they ball out. If Jalen Hurts, shits the bed, the Eagles might not win the game. But who knows? I could be wrong. I think the Eagles will win the game, and they should be moving on to the NFC Championship game. But
Yeah.
all in all, good game from the Eagles defense. Offense needs to pick it up. I know it was Jalen Hurts' first game back. But yeah, the Packers as well. Jordan Love kind of stunk. And that's something to be concerned about for next season. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Nothing to add there. And game of the weekend right here. Okay. Sunday, 8 o'clock kickoff, man. This was a fun one. Commanders, Jaden motherfucking Daniels, dude. Yes, I picked him. That's my upset. I'm so happy about this. This happened. Commanders win 23-20. Walk-off field goal. I gotta just say, I'm gonna start off with that walk-off field goal. When that guy was walking, he was just playing with his hair like this. I'm like, oh my god,
Zane Gonzalez, yeah,
is he gonna
he
miss it?
was stressing, bro.
And then I found out like he has OCD and he like does stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, but what a moment for him. He nailed the kick. It doinked off the right up post, went in. And the Commanders, they won. And yeah, Jaden Daniels, dude. I just saw something special in this kid since just drafted, man. It's beautiful. I saw him
Never
coming from a
start.
mile away. I picked him. I picked him to make the playoffs. I'm like, this kid is special. But man, I didn't know like he doesn't get rattled. It's something unbelievable.
His DNA,
Like
man.
like you watch
Had
him,
that dog
you watch
mentality.
him, and he's just like so nonchalant, chill, and you want that from a quarterback. When you see your quarterback chill, um, balling out, making all the right plays, not turning the ball over, it's going to elevate the level of play of everyone. And he's special. Like he really is. 268, 2 touchdowns. Hell of a game for him. He got it done rushing. He got it done throwing. And his favorite target, Terry McLaurin. And I got to give a shout out to De'Ami Brown. He had a great game too. But Terry McLaurin, I got 7 catches, 89 yards, touchdown. Terry McLaurin has been waiting for that franchise quarterback. He's got one for years to come. What a what a duo they're going to be. And you got to give a shout out. Baker Mayfield, 185, 2 touchdowns. He played a pretty good game, but that fumble towards the end was crucial. And ended up the Commanders ended up scoring off of that. That was a big mistake there, and that was kind of like a karma moment because you could have said the pass interference on that 4th and goal was a missed call that Tampa had with Levante David. So it's kind of like a karma moment. That was cool to see that happen, but it cost him the game. And Mike Evans, 7 catches, 92 yards, a touchdown. He dominated the Marshawn Lattimore matchup. That was like the game within the game. You wanted to see if the tempers will flare there. He owned that matchup. And Marshawn Lattimore, one thing about him, he's very in and out of the lineup. He's not always available. And that was his first game back. So he's going to be a little bit rusty. He's not going to be his all pro self. And Mike Evans just torched him. I'm sorry. He just did. He owned that matchup. Um, yeah. I'm not shocked. I picked the Commanders. I believed in Jaden Daniels. That's my dog. Credit to him. They got a tough matchup, Detroit. But with that guy at quarterback, who says they're not out of it? Not saying I'm picking them, but they're not out of it by any means. You gotta give him respect. Dan Quinn respect. Going for on 4th and goal, the amount of times he did to keep the time of possession in their favor. Um, Ballsy game plan from him, and the players love him. He's a player's coach. Gotta give a lot of credit to Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, and the crew. Hell of a performance by them, man. They move on to Detroit. I'll give it over to you. You picked the Buccaneers, and I wanted to get more of your thoughts.
Yeah, the Buccaneers. It sucks that they lost. I thought they were gonna win this game. I thought they were the better team, but the Commanders, they proved me wrong. Even though I know the Commanders had a better record and all that, I just felt like the Bucks. They had the experience. Baker Mayfield's been in the playoffs before. Mike Evans, they won a Super Bowl, all of that jazz. But Jaden Daniels, he showed up. He balled out. And, he's been doing it time and time again. So, got to give him credit there. And, yeah, the Commanders, they're having a hell of a season. First year in the rebuild with Dan Quinn and company, already going to the divisional round. Sounds like the Giants a few years ago with Brian Dable and company. But, they didn't have a Jaden Daniels, right? They had Daniel Jones. But, yeah, Jaden Daniels – yeah, hell of a game. Balled out. Terry McLaurin balled out. But yeah, the Bucks, it sucks. Once Baker Mayfield fumbled, that's when they pretty much lost the game there. But yeah, I don't know where the Bucks go from here because I got a lot of older players. Like Levante David might retire. Got some people on expiring deals. What did the Bucks do? But they should be fine. Like their division's not that hard right now, even though Michael Penix, coming back year 2, he's gonna be the full starter and all that. But yeah, I'll give credit to the Commanders. Hell of a job. And yeah, excited to see them play the Lions. I want to see that game, see how well Jaden Daniels can play against a real contender in the NFC like the Lions. So that should be a fun game. I'm excited to tune in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big home. It's gonna be the toughest crowd he's ever played in. Like that Detroit crowd's gonna be rocking for sure. But you forgot to mention the good luck charm that was there was the reason why the Commanders won.
What was the good luck charm?
Malik Neighbors was in attendance. He was the good
Ah,
luck
yeah,
charm.
I did see that. I did see that.
And
Yeah, of course. He had to support his dog.
your draft pick, Brian Thomas Jr. They left on the bench most of the year. He was there.
Ah, yeah, he was there.
Cheering
Yeah.
on Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Man, yeah.
As they
Just wanted to
should.
throw that out there.
As they should.
Let's get into the Monday night game, shall we?
Yeah,
So,
shall we?
yeah. So
Wolf.
the game was not in LA. The fires are going on, so we wanted to say the BenchWire. Our thoughts and prayers are with those guys in LA. It's a terrible situation, so we hope everyone's okay there, and wish all nothing but the best. But yeah, the game itself. Yeah, the Rams. I picked the Vikings. You picked the Vikings. We were wrong on this game. I thought the Brian Flores defense would show up. I thought Sam Darnold would bounce back. Did not happen. The experience of Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. I think they showed up there and played a hell of a game, and they had extra motivation. Evacuating, going to Arizona, extra motivation to win that game, which is something I didn't really consider. But yeah, let's go into the stats. 245 passing yards for Sam Darnold, touchdown, interception, inconsistent play from him. T.J. Hawkinson was the star receiver there, 5 receptions, 64 yards, touchdown from him. And then Matt Stafford, 209 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He had one to Kyron Williams. He spread the ball around. They didn't have like a standout guy. It was just like everyone got involved there. Higby was like one of the was probably the most involved guy from a yardage standpoint. Um, I think he had like 50 some reception yards, and he ended up getting taken out, banged up, but he should be good to go for the Eagles game this coming Sunday. But yeah, the Rams, I don't got too much to add. The Rams did their job. They beat them by a considerable margin. I just think the Vikings were deflated from that loss with the Lions losing the number one seed. I think it deflated them and killed their confidence, so to speak. And Sam Darnold got out of rhythm, and he played out of rhythm, and he had a great year. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but he did lose some money. He lost some money with the last two, like because you get paid. Why I wrote all these stats down is because you get paid by your playoff performances. At least I think so. Not what you do in the regular season. This is where the bread counts. And he did not show up the last 2 weeks. When these were playoff like games, and he did not show up. So I don't think he's going to command as much money as we thought as the season was going on. But yeah, you still got to give him credit for the season he had, though. But it's just not going to be the money he was hoping for, I guess. But got to give credit to Matt Stafford. Just a savvy veteran, poised, all that. And Sean McVay, one of the best coaches, and they just outclass him, in my opinion. And I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I did not expect this, but maybe I should have because, yeah, of all the experience that the Rams had, Matt Stafford being in this league for how long he's been in. Dude, that first, whatever drives, like not throwing one incompletion, like he was dicing up that Flores defense. Like they kept bringing on pressure, and he's like, oh, well, that person's going to be wide open. That person's going to be wide open. Like he was reading that defense. Oh, my God.
They were
was
well
a beautiful
prepared.
thing to watch. Yeah, they were well prepared. And yeah, he had a hell of a game, and you got to give him credit there. But yeah, Sam Darnold, he did leave some money on the table. I think he probably lost out easily over $100 million. Easily.
Over 100, damn.
Yo, yeah, bro.
Jesus.
Dude, easily. Because now he's probably not going to get a big of a deal. He'll probably get in the range of a Baker Mayfield, right? Like probably like 35,
Yeah.
40 million if he gets paid, right? He's not going to get more than that because he only has 1 year to showcase that he's actually been good.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if the Vikings bring him back. They could on the tag. The franchise tag is what, $40 million. They could do that to be safe because they have JJ McCarthy coming back from injury. So
I don't
maybe they
think
do that.
so.
But I don't know
Kevin
if they
O
do that because Kevin O'Connell doesn't
Kevin
want to do that.
O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell was kind of saying like, yeah, I'm thankful for what Sam did here. He had a great year, but during this like exit during the last couple of games, he even admitted he did not play his best, and it just sounded like he was kind of like thanking him for what he did and moving off. It seems like the JJ McCarthy era is coming in. He's going to probably be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson sounded committed. He just got the extension last offseason. So, yeah, it looks like the JJ McCarthy show. And even KOC himself said he could have coached a better game. And like I mentioned, he did get outcoached and they got outclassed. Yeah.
Yeah. So they probably will let Sam Darnold walk, but maybe they could do like a franchise tag scenario and then trade him at the end of the day, maybe get something for him. I don't
I
know if there
doubt
will be
that.
any
Yeah.
buyers out there for it, but that could be in play. But maybe they keep they're going to keep JJ, of course, right? And they can bring a guy like Daniel Jones back, and he could be a nice little backup and, be a mentor for JJ.
Sure.
So that could be something in the cards there for the Vikings. But yeah, I doubt that there's any like long-term future there with Sam Darnold and the Vikings. So, it kind of sucks because he had a good year with Kevin O'Connell, but maybe he'll go on and do better things. Maybe resigns. What do you see him being a backup, or do you see him taking a job to be a starter? Like, what if he goes signs with the Niners and goes back there? I don't know. Like,
No, I think he's a
no,
bridge.
you think he'll be a bridge guy and kind of be like
Yeah.
a Geno type Baker quarterback right now?
Yeah, I think he's like an Andy Dalton, a Geno, that kind of
Okay.
guy.
Yeah,
Um,
because I just don't know like what he'll command. Probably like 40 million most, maybe 45
I
if
don't I
there's
don't
a
know if
team
he's gonna get
coming up.
40. Uh, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
he'll get
maybe it's not
40.
like all guaranteed. Like I just don't know how the contract's gonna play out. It
They'll
just all
probably
depends on
build they'll
what
probably
his
build
buyers
some
are.
incentives into it where
Oh
it's
yeah,
where he can raise
for
the
sure.
value of the deal depending on like if he makes a Pro Bowl or if he makes the playoff. If he plays a certain amount of snaps, the rookie doesn't come in and takes a spot during the season or something like that. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Anything
Um,
else you want to add there? Because we got
yeah. Overall, Rams did a good job. Excited to see what they could do against the Eagles. See what Sean McVay can cook up. But yeah, Vikings, good season. They definitely, overperformed and exceeded everyone's expectations.
for
So
sure.
a hell
Good
of a
season.
year for Sam Darnold and company, and yeah,
Yeah.
excited for their futures.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if Flores gets a job opportunity somewhere. Kevin O'Connell proved he's a top head coach in the league this season. No doubt about it. Just last couple of weeks they want to erase from their memory for sure. But let's get into some like hot topic breaking news. And I'm gonna go right back at you. Dallas, Mike McCarthy, they waited a week, right? The timing of it was a little bit weird. I have a theory on that, but I'm gonna let you go first. So they part ways. The Bears and the Saints are reportedly interested. I think he just completed the Bears interview today, I believe. And then, yeah, I guess my question is, who's going to be the Dallas next head coach, man? I'll throw it to you
Well,
first.
it's looking like Dion is the favorite right now. Looks like Dion Sanders has to be the favorite right now. Supposedly Jerry Jones is working behind the scenes, and it's a one-man show of who's in control of the head coaching search. And supposedly he already
Yeah.
called up Dion, and Dion listened. When Jerry calls, Dion listens, and
Hmm.
it might be something that he might take upon here, but I don't know. It depends. Like, do you want Dak Prescott, right? Or do you want your son? You want to coach your son there, Shador. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts, I think, if they do acquire a Dion, and just see like who's going to be the quarterback there. That contract with Dak's going to be hard to get out of, but if they do bring on Dion, they definitely want Shador to be a package deal. I feel like that's the future. And, that will, unload some cap space there. And when you get rid of that contract, you could then sign a guy like a Micah Parsons. So, there's a lot of moving parts. I think, Dion has to be the favorite right now. Also heard Robert Saleh could be in the mix. Ben
Yeah.
Johnson, maybe Ben Johnson goes there because, they got a loaded roster. And Ben Johnson might be the guy to make it work, but I haven't heard much with Ben Johnson. I've been hearing Dion, Robert Saleh as of now. I'm thinking it's going to lean towards Dion. I think that could happen potentially. How about you?
I have a question for you. I think this is why the timing of this is weird, why he waited so long, and we're like, are they keeping him? They didn't say anything. The Bears are kind of like, hey, is Mike McCarthy available? We want to talk to him, and they declined the request to interview him, and they let instead of firing, they let his contract expire, and now he's able to go and talk, and it didn't make any sense, right? Because now they shot themselves in the foot. Because like you said, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, they wanted to talk to both of them, and something Shefty said is they're both looking like they're going to get head coaching jobs this coaching cycle. Now they have to wait until the Lions season is over. Which one thing is a rule the NFL could do is hold off on hiring coaches. Like the coaching search should be after the Super Bowl. That could be an interesting rule they could have implemented there, so that it's like a fair shot. I guess you don't have to wait for a team that goes to the Super Bowl if you want to interview one of those guys that made it there. But all right, so my question for you: why do you think he waited that long? Because I have a theory behind it. Till
Why?
after the wild card. Like, why do you wait till after the wild card?
Well,
I
I
have a
think
theory.
they were trying. They wanted to extend McCarthy, is what I've been hearing, but they just didn't like, potentially having him there for multiple years, like a long-term deal. It was more of a short-term deal, and you got to prove it to keep him there. I think that's the reason why. They still
Hmm.
liked Mike McCarthy, but at
Yeah,
the end of the day, they didn't view him as a long-term option because, just didn't live up to expectations the last few years.
yeah. Two things. One, I guess they talked from one of the reports. It's like Jerry Jones even said it in like a statement. The Cowboys social media team posted it. One of the things he said was, "We talked about everything: the roster, the coaching staff, everything, except they never got to the contract talks." And then from there, it just kind of died. And then they went their separate ways. Just from what Jerry Jones said, and that's what I believe happened. Was that they never really talked contract, and they decided best to part ways. And you know what? My theory to as to why it happened, we talked about it. Who when the Mike McCarthy, the 12-5 season, so 3 years. Who was his coordinators? Remind me, who was his coordinators? We went
When
12-5. All
well,
3 years. Yeah, those
Dan
3 years he
Quinn
went.
was Dan Quinn,
Yep.
and it was Kellen Moore.
Ding, 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 ding. Circle gets the square. He watched, kid you not, he watched the wild card weekend. He's like, oh, maybe it was Dan Quinn that was the reason why we were so good. And, maybe we should have moved off of Kellen Moore. Look at all of that. So he waited. He saw what his former coordinators did, and he's like, Mike, you're the problem. It's not my fault. I did not build a bad roster. His ego is one of the massive egos I ever seen. So they just let the contract expire, part ways after seeing that. That's my theory because he saw the coordinators have win,
That's a
look
good
good
theory.
look great all year. 12-5. Dan Quinn went. Kellen Moore did a pretty good job with the Eagles' offense. That's my theory there. And next Cowboys head coach, I'm not going Dion. They'll have to pay. He's making 6 million at Colorado right now, and the average is about over 6 million. So you're gonna have to go above 6 million, I believe, to get him out of Colorado. Which does Jerry Jones want to break the bank account for? I don't know. If you're saying it was a money dispute, a length dispute, I'm not too sure if Dion's in play. And Bill Belichick, I heard a little bit. I'm just entertaining it, but he has a $10 million buyout with UNC if he leaves before June 1st, and after that, it's $1 million buyout for him there. He's making $10 million a season. He's making a bag for sure. But my thing is, the Jerry Jones family, from what I'm hearing, hold this guy in the high regard. I think Kellen Moore might be the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's very possible. They liked him there. When Mike McCarthy first got hired in like, COVID year 2020, one of the things Jerry Jones said was Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore's going to be your OC, and he stuck there for a bit. The Jones family likes him a lot. Um, he's familiar with that building, familiar with Dak. He did have good success there. Is it my perfect pick for him? No, but it's just kind of where I'm leaning because I don't know if a Ben Johnson will take it because of the ego Jerry Jones has. Like he didn't do anything to build the roster, so I feel like it would be like a Kellen Moore situation. So that's who I think will be the next head coach there.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. I think that, how it all plays out with the Eagles here, just depending when, then he'll definitely get scheduled an interview when he's available. But yeah, I didn't not really think about Kellen Moore. And yeah, it's a good theory, seeing what Kellen Moore was able to do this past weekend and Dan Quinn,
Yeah.
both those teams balled out. And yeah, they just didn't really view Mike McCarthy as a long term option there as coach because they just haven't lived up to expectations. And that's probably because, the roster wasn't as good as well. But, Jerry Jones doesn't think
No.
that way. But yeah, we can move on to the next topic.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy is still very much in play with both the Saints and the Bears. He might get another opportunity somewhere else. But yeah, let's go to Mike Vrabel. This was like the worst kept secret in NFL. We knew it was going to happen. Uh, Mike Vrabel, he's in, new Patriots head coach. And I guess the question I have is, what do you think of the hire? And what do the Patriots go from here? Like they got to fill out this coaching staff. Like everyone's saying, get Josh McDaniels back in, let him run your offense. You have like 130 million in cap. How are you going to build out the roster? Who are you going to draft the number? Pick what, four? Who are you going to draft? Are you going to take Abdul Carter? Are you going to get O line help? Is Travis Hunter falls? Are you going to take him? There's so many questions. They have a lot of money to spend, so it's going to be a big off season for Mike Vrabel and company. But yeah, I wanted to give it to you first. Give me the grade of the move, what do you think of it, and what do you think's next for the Patriots?
Grade of the move, given an A. It's about time this move happened. This move should have happened last
Yeah,
year instead of hiring Gerard Mayo. I don't know why they hired Gerard Mayo when, Mike Vrabel had the experience. He had the resume, been in the AFC championship games, won multiple playoff games there for the Titans. So, yeah, about time it happened. What's the next move? Yeah, I could easily see Josh McDaniels as the OC there, bringing him back the Patriot way, all that jazz, grooming Mr. Drake May there. That could definitely happen. Through the draft, I would take the best player available because any player you take there for will make your team better. Whether it's Travis
mm,
Hunter, Abdul Carter, an offensive lineman, or receiver, I would probably go Travis Hunter first if he's available there, then Abdul Carter, then a receiver, then an offensive lineman in that order because I just think that's how the draft is going to pan out, you know, based on all the prospects and like who's best. But yeah, got to take the best player available. I would stay there at 4 because you're going to get a generational talent there. And usually everyone does unless you draft a bust. So I would stay at 4, stand pat. I would look into more offensive coordinators other than Josh McDaniels because there's definitely probably better options. But, I would just, cast a wide net, interview them all, and see who's the best option. But overall, give this move an A. And yeah, happy to see Vrabel back in New England.
yeah, I'll give it an A as well. He's a three-time Super Bowl champion there. Just made all the sense. He loved the Patriots. He got honored like I think a year or two ago, and it's one of the best organizations in the entire league from the top down. The Patriots fans are lucky to have a great organization, and yeah, Robert Kraft, he nailed it. This one a year too late, but Gerard Mayo, as we discussed, it was probably a little bit too early. It probably wasn't the right time for him to be the head coach. So maybe he'll get another opportunity somewhere down the road. But yeah, I think Vrabel, this was a move. Can establish that culture, the Patriot culture that he played through. He understands it. Um, Runs like regimented, tough, tight practices. Strict. He's pretty strict with it too. Yeah, it's gonna be the Patriot style football, And yeah, it's going to be what the Patriots are looking for there. Honestly, I know the quarterbacks go pretty high. I know Cam Ward, they're going to go within the first three picks. But honestly, not to rehash bad memories for us, Steve, but I watching that Penn State Notre Dame game. I'm like, Abdul Carter is going to be the best player in this draft. He's
Yeah,
going to when we look back at this in a couple of years, we're gonna be like,
he's a
yeah,
menace.
Abdul Carter's a beast. He should have went. You could have argued went number one.
Yeah,
You could have said the
that's it.
Titans could have taken
Oh,
him at one. If he's there for them at four, it's a no-brainer. You take him. Vrabel will coach him up well. It would just be a match made in heaven. I did see Michael Parsons said he wants Abdul Carter. That's not going to happen unless you trade up for him. I'm
yeah,
sorry, but yeah, I would take Abdul Carter there, and then I'd probably go. He would be my number one, Steve, if I had to rate players. He would be my number one. I put him over
okay,
Travis. I think
okay.
he's the most NFL ready. I think he's going to come in and take it by storm. He's another Michael Parsons, in my opinion. So, um, yeah, he's going to be a beast. I would take him if he's there. That would be my move. Um, maybe I know connecting the dots. If Arthur Smith becomes available, if you want to pry him out of Pittsburgh, maybe that could work. Just the camaraderie they both had from Tennessee, that could make a lot of sense, and they could get the running game going, fortify the offensive line. As well get a Bill Cow running back in there. I like Ramondre, but maybe you can find an upgrade as well. But yeah, that's what I would do. And you just build the defense, build the defense. Also build the trenches. It's always my big thing. Get O line help, get D line. That's why I like the Abdul Carter move. Just improve there. Um, get some decent weapons for Drake May. Get a stud tight end to get a good tight end. That would be my perfect offseason for him.
Yeah, I think if they make all those moves, they will be looking pretty in that AFC divisional or the AFC East division rankings. I think they could potentially, squeak in and make a wild card run or be a wild card
But
team. They could. They could pull a
yeah,
Broncos. They could be a Chargers. Who knows? It all depends on
maybe.
what they do this offseason. But yeah,
Yeah, we know they got something with Drake May. So yeah, it's just about setting the culture and going forward from there, getting the right people in. So yeah, big off season for him, and that's going to conclude this BenchWire episode. Man, it was a fun one. It was a little bit long, but we loved. We had a lot to get through. We had to get through every game. The big news. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, make sure we've been posting our predictions now on TikTok, on Instagram. Make sure you're followed up there to see our predictions, and make sure you comment as always on those videos. Comment what takes you like, who you like, anything like that, comment, and even comment shit takes. We still post those, so the shit takes aren't going anywhere. Make sure you comment your shittiest takes in there. Maybe you'll get pinned. I don't know.
ooh,
Maybe we'll shout you out. Maybe, but we got to see a lot of activity. We need to get those.
need more engagement.
Yeah, we need engagement. There you go, the fancy word. Leave out the paisano there. But and then yeah, Facebook is not dead. We love the old people, so we just figure we take a break and they won't even notice we're gone. Steve, any thoughts going into the divisional weekend, man?
Yeah, I'm excited for all these games. There should be some good ones. And hopefully they're all close and they're not blowouts like we saw with some of these wild card games. But yeah, excited to watch them.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a fun one. Yeah, make sure we're also on YouTube, if you're seeing our beautiful faces, you're there already. But we also got Apple Podcasts, we got Spotify. We're everywhere. If you have any software, type BenchWire, we'll be there. We're everywhere. We're gonna be
Everywhere.
global. We're gonna be global, Steve. We just gotta.
Maybe not on
We just
TikTok
need.
here soon if it gets banned. I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
banned in
what's
the
going on
US.
there? What's going on there? I don't
I don't
know.
know. Someone's got to
I don't
buy
know.
it.
Is Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary gonna buy it?
I don't
Is
know. I
Elon
don't know.
Musk
Mr. Beast
gonna
might buy
oversee the
it.
U.S.?
I don't know.
Mr. Beast. Oh my gosh. Man, it's gonna be fun to see. But yeah, um, yeah, football. BenchWire
BenchWire out.
out.